Yourselves a fantastic morning this morning and a great week at that. We're so grateful to have you here with us, whether you're here inside of central and upstate New York, on the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, or anywhere around the country. We welcome you here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. And I appreciate you so much for being a part of the show. We thank you so much for tuning into this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And you're live with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /Wake Up Call DT. And of course on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT, as well as on WakeUpCallDT.com's home page. With that being said, we are going to take a quick step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to jump right into our special featuring the LeMoyne Dolphins. You know that every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time is Dolphin Time, and we have the opportunity inside of Dolphin Time to bring you our specials with the LeMoyne College Dolphins, which we always appreciate doing and love bringing that to you. And so every first and third Wednesday, AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and I speaking on different topics in each episode. And every second and fourth Wednesday, including today, we have the Dolphin Dive, where we dive into the stories of coaches as well as student athletes, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. Coming up after this fast break, we will feature LeMoyne Dolphins baseball with head coach Scott Cassidy right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Cabal studios. We're proud to be here with you every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for our specials, which we put inside of Dolphin Time every first and third Wednesday with AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, and every second and fourth Wednesday with you, bringing you Dolphin Dive with stories from coaches, student athletes, as well as administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. I am honored and privileged to be here with Scott Cassidy. We got to make history with Scott over this past baseball season, as he was the first guest that we ever had with LeMoyne on-site on location for the entire broadcast. We did it from his dugout, which I really love that opportunity. We had our LeMoyne Baseball dugout set up type of thing, and the opportunity to sit down with Scott and Bob Beretta as well as our closer for that. And a lot of great stories that Scott had to tell, and a lot of doors that have been open to his history as well as what he's doing at LeMoyne now. They're coming off of an incredible baseball season that went into the NCAA postseason, and I am so happy, as always, to talk with Scott Cassidy.
For having me on again. Looking forward to having some more dialogue about some things.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of great things going on with LeMoyne Baseball, and with those that have played it and those that are obviously here now. Taking a look at this baseball season, you and I spoke as we were in the earlier part of the season, and now we have seen what you guys have been able to do. And in the NE10, going back to the NE10 conference championships, you got to get a victory there against Southern Connecticut State, and then from there went on to the NCAA postseason and were able to go up against Malloy College, Adelphi, and Franklin Pierce University. So bring me into that, and we'll start in the NE10. Just what your take was from the NE10 and being able to get in there, get a victory, and not hoist a championship inside of the NE10, and then get an opportunity at large to go into the NCAA world is obviously a huge accomplishment. It speaks volumes of what the country saw from LeMoyne Baseball this season.
Yeah, it really, you got to take it back to last year when we put the schedule together, because I think that ultimately became a big point of our run to the NCAA tournament. But the NE10 typically is strong in the Northeast anyway, in our region, and it's considered one of the better conferences in the Northeast region. So our internal conference schedule is tough. Our division in this year was really tough. We played a lot of good teams: Southern Connecticut, Adelphi, New Haven. St. Rose made a good run at the end, and AIC is always tough. So, we were able to play some good teams that kind of prepared us for the playoffs, and we were able to have some success against some of the teams. And then our non-conference schedule, we scheduled it pretty tough this past year. A lot of great teams from the PSAC that made good runs this year. So our strength of schedule was really good. We had some really good success against them, which prepared us for our conference schedule, which got us into the NE10 tournament. And, we had to go up against Southern Connecticut that first game, which was a play-in game to get to the double elimination part. And they were tough. They were tough all year. We performed really well. We got a really good pitching performance, and then we were able to scrap some runs across and take care of them in that first round, which was exciting, because that's your goal, to get into that double elimination and see what can happen when we get there. Unfortunately, we didn't show up in that portion of the tournament. We lost the first two games there, which made us had to wait and see if we were going to get in the NCAA tournament.
And for you, when you look back on the NE10 and leaving that tournament and then having to sit and wait, did you feel like there was enough in the tank for LeMoyne Baseball this season, based on your strength of schedule, based on what you did against those teams out of conference, based on how strong the NE10 is typically and how strong it was this year, and as you said, divisionally, how strong the NE10 was for you? Did you feel like there was enough on paper that you had I know you have to sit and wait no matter what, but did you feel that you had done enough to show the NCAA what they needed to see? Were you confident going into that selection period?
Leading up to the selection show, I think we put enough on our resume to get there. Not winning our conference tournament, though, you have to sit back and wait, because we came into that time as the seventh team in the region. They only take 7 teams in the regional and the NCAA in this area. So we needed things to go our way in the other conference tournaments and in our conference tournament. Basically, so it was pretty nerve-wracking, watching those tournaments one of them came down to 500 or better. We played more teams that were 500 and better in the region of anybody, and had the most wins of anybody against some teams in the region. So on paper, I thought we had a chance. You just never know going into it, so you're still kind of nervous. Assumption made a really good run in our NE10 tournament, and they were right there with us. So if they had a chance as well. So it was pretty nerve-wracking right up to the last minute.
And like you said, you needed all these things to go your way. When you look on this team this season and you look back at a 27-25 record, 14-10 in the NE10, what did they show you? What did the guys do to really bring you to that point where you felt like you said, things had to fall your way and other things out of your control had to happen? But when you reflect on the season and looking back on it and seeing what you did, do you feel like this team, hindsight 2020, deserved to have that shot in the NCAAs and really exceeded your expectations, or at least met your expectations? Where did the team land this year as far as what you were hoping for?
I think this team showed a lot to me. Even early on, we actually started off the season 2-7, the first 2 weekends of the season, and had to dig out of a hole. And they did. They started playing some really good ball. And I'll be honest with you, every game that we were in, I think except for maybe one, we were in it till the last inning. And we lost a bunch of one-run games. Actually walked off 5 or 6 times, which is unfortunate. But what it showed me is that this team can win any game. We're in every game to the last out of the game. They realized that. They started playing like that. So even though we had some losses on our record, they could have gone either way in the last outing, in the last inning. So they showed me some grit. They showed me they have fight, and they showed me that we're never out of it. So when we got to that point in the season, that I knew that we had a chance to make some run at it and have some success in the postseason, hopefully.
That coming here from Scott Cassidy, the head coach of the LeMoyne Dolphins baseball program here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora's Dolphin Dive. Scott, looking at the world of what the NCAAs are, for those that don't understand, I know that, Division III finally added in the super regional because they wanted to obviously match that model. And in Division II, where LeMoyne is, you have your regionals and your super regionals, and then you move on from there. So it's the bracket of the bracket of the bracket, and it just keeps going. To somebody who doesn't know and maybe has never experienced it, how you can just how you would describe NCAAs, because you were in the regional, East Regional number 2 at Malloy College. So when you were over there at region, in that group in the East region, if you had gone on from there, you go to super regionals, and then if you go on from there, then we're fighting for the opportunity to take the overall series. So to someone who doesn't know, how would you describe the gamut that a baseball team has to go through in the postseason?
It's tough. It's tough just to get the bid to begin with. There's so many teams in the country that are vying for spots, for a limited amount of spots, and once you get the bid, then you're playing the best in the region, obviously, and you go into a double elimination tournament, and you're playing against the top 7 teams in the region. So you're going to face good arms every day. You're going to face some deep lineups. So it's tough to get there. It's way tougher to even get through that first regional. And then you're going to go best 2 out of 3 with the winner of the other regional, which is going to be a battle. So it's a tough thing. That's why it's really, I will say this. I like the layout better now with the super regional, because previous to that, it was a 7 or 8 game double elimination tournament. And that's a gamut to get through. Like, that's hard. Like, you go to the loser's bracket, then you got to win 5 games out of there, and it's tough to do. So I think this gives I like it a lot better the way it is. I think I don't want to say it's an easy path, because it's not. It's just you kind of slice it in half, and you got to go half and then the next half. So and then you get to if you do get to the super regional, it's the best 2 out of 3, which you're going to match up 1s against 1s, 2s against 2s. So you'll see who the better team is. So it's like it's a tough road to get to, but I do like the layout of it.
And when you're in that region, in the East region, number 2, and you were at Malloy College, Uniondale, New York. Malloy hosting it. They ended up coming out of it and heading to the Super Regional. You played them, you played Adelphi, and you played Franklin Pierce. And I know you got the victory over Adelphi, which helped you to continue forward and have the opportunity with Franklin. And if you had defeated Franklin, you would have saw Malloy again because of how it all, stacks up. So when you look at those 3 matchups that you had, what were your takeaways, despite the 1-2 record and not moving forward in it? There's growth and there's positivity to see in this season, and there's a lot of good to see in LeMoyne baseball. So what did you take away from those 3 games that you got to play in the NCAA regional with an opportunity to move forward?
Yeah, I think we showed that we're one of the better teams in the region for sure, and we backed up our bid because we played really good baseball down there. Malloy was the 2 seed in the region. We started out with them, and we went 12 innings with them. We had a close play in I think the 10th or 11th at the plate that we were called out on. We were a call possibly away from taking that victory out of the gates. But Malloy's a really good squad, obviously, as they won that region eventually. But we took them to 12 innings. We beat Adelphi, who was one of the better teams in the region all year. And then even the last game against Franklin Pierce, we were battling. We were actually leading 4-2 going into the bottom of the 7th. So we were a couple outs away from taking that victory. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for us. We lost some runs in the last couple innings to finish our season. But it just showed you that we are one of the best teams in the region. And that's what our goal is every year. And then, we want to make the tournament. And then once you get there, you want to succeed and you want to take the next step. So it was really promising to see how the boys played during that tournament.
And for Malloy to be hosting the region that you were in, to win that region, and like you said, to go 12 innings and to lose that game by 5-4, what does that say about what you can build on now that the team that you brought to the brink was hosting it in familiar territory and then ended up moving themselves forward all the way through? So you gave them arguably one of their best fights in that regional. What does that say about what we can build on at LeMoyne now?
Oh, it's huge. Confidence is a big thing, especially when you're talking about college age kids. They need to know, they need to feel that they can do it. And when you're playing against the best teams in the region and you're battling them and you're beating some of them and the ones that you're losing are battled till the end, it just shows them that they know that they can beat the best teams. And that's why we consider ourselves one of the best teams. And I think that if you would ask Malloy after that game, they would have said, that's a good squad we just played over there too. So I think we matched up really well with each other. That's why the game came down to the last run. But once you play these teams and you're playing with them, and I think our conference prepares us for that because our conference has such solid teams in it that, we're playing some of the better teams in the region every weekend. Yeah. So just taking them to the brink, to the 12th inning and unfortunately losing and bowing out of that tournament. But to see that team was playing in the super regional and we were that close, I think that bodes really well for us going forward.
You talk about, the strength of the conference of the NE10. What is it? What is it? About these institutions that, and it's not just baseball, it's in multiple sports that we see the NE10 pulling at-large bids for the NCAA. What is it about this conference? We've seen institutions within this conference move forward and go to Division I. From here, there's something about the NE10 which almost makes it like a Division I, like A, so to speak, because there is so much talent and so much good on the baseball field, but also in so many different places. We're seeing, I just feel like the NE10 is constantly having multiple teams nationally get respect, and obviously it exists on the diamond as well.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think the schools itself, the institutions are really good colleges academically, which draws people in. I think that in our sport that I can speak to up front, I think that the people that I go against, the coaching staffs that I go against are just great recruiters. I see that in other sports at our school as well. Our coaches at our school at LeMoyne and the other schools in the NE10 do a great job of recruiting the best student athletes they can. And then when we have success and somebody else has success, it builds up the conference, the reputation. So kids that don't go Division I then lean to like, what's the next option? And like, oh, I can play really competitive ball right here and this conference. So I think we draw some really good players. Like, it's funny, we used to say, like, we used to be out recruiting and some coaches in the summer circuit would be like, oh, I got a really good Division II guy for you. Well, our answer is like, well, we're your Division I guys, because we want the Division I talented level guys that can play Division II, so that's the way we look at it when we go recruit. We don't look at it, we're trying to recruit a Division II player. We're trying to recruit the best player we can find, and we're going to play at this level, so hopefully that gives you the roster depth that you're looking for. And I think a lot of the NE10 schools in all sports do that really, really well.
That coming from Scott Cassidy, the LeMoyne Dolphins baseball head coach, inside of this edition of Dolphin Dive, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here in the Cafe Kubal studio. Scott, before I let you go, you spoke about recruiting. Bring me into the recruiting trail, because you and I were talking off the air about this. Fortunately, because it's something that you love to do, but maybe unfortunately for sleep wise and whatnot, but you're out there and you're continuing to see, as we have, sectionals that have happened in states and whatnot. You want to go out and you want to see these teams that are making it deep. And so you're continuing to recruit. And in the world we live in today, the transfer portal is there. And like you said, give me the D1 guys who can play Division II and come in here for us as well. So what is the recruiting trail like as far as what you're looking to bring in? Do we already have a bunch kind of rounded up? How is recruiting looking in the short term and the long term as far as traditional recruiting as well as the transfer portal?
Yeah, like you said, that once our season's over, there's not really any time to sit down and wait. We're in the crunch time of high school sports for baseball, the spring sports. So we've been out watching sectionals, and now we're getting to regionals, and now we're into the state finals. So we'll be locked into that. Summer ball teams have already started their summer circuit, so we're hitting up tournaments all over the Northeast for that. Identifying guys and doing what we got to do there. So, the recruiting, it ramps up. It's a year-round thing, obviously, but it ramps up right now for us going into the summer. So we're, as much as I'm on the road during the season, I'm on the road just as much, and so is Coach Miola, looking for guys, during the summertime. So that's what we're heavy into right now. As far as our personal recruiting, we have a really good class coming in this next fall, this coming fall. So we're really excited about that. And now we're trying to, get some kids locked in for the 2023 classes, and now the landscape of a lot of things have changed, though, because of the transfer portal. And, I don't know if it's, it depends on who you talk to, if you think it's good or bad. It's great because we can identify kids that are transferring, but it seems like everybody is on the transfer portal. There's so many kids on it.
Yeah.
And it's difficult because sometimes you hear about, it's great for the student athlete that gives them the option to go someplace if they go to a Power 5 school and then they weren't, they're not playing, they can go someplace else. But it's also kind of it's difficult for a Division II or Division III level team, I think, because you can recruit a kid that can come to your school, and then if they end up having really good success, can say, okay, now I want to go test the water somewhere else. It's difficult, so it's like you hope that they don't want to do that, and you hope you want to stay and finish what you started. But then again, that's what the world is now. It's like that. So if you look at the transfer portal for baseball, there's thousands and thousands of kids on it. And you don't have to sit out a year going from Division I to Division I. So they're all looking to just, swap teams and stuff. So I do get it because, I myself was a transfer student back when I was out of high school. I went to college down south for a couple of years and I transferred back to LeMoyne. So I understand the need to get a new scenery and stuff like that. You hope you can get the kids to stay. Fortunately, we have, and for the most part, and we just want to continue that and take our guys to, like you said, what we talked about, try to win a championship with the guys with this group. So definitely the landscape of it has changed. It's definitely changed it for the big time. Like we're not only are we out watching these high school tournaments and these summer tournaments, but we also have to keep an eye on the transfer portal as well to see if we can grab somebody off of that. So totally different element of it, but it's part of the ever-changing landscape of the NCAA.
How often do you grab a cup of coffee and check the transfer portal daily?
We look at it every day. Yeah. You get up in the morning, you log on and you look at it. You want to see who's on it. You want to see if anybody else popped on it. And see where they're from, what's going on. Then you got to, once you see them, you got to do some research to find out why they want to transfer. What's the deal with that? Are you hurt? Did this or that? Or were you disgruntled or playing time or what was it? So it's a whole different dynamic, and it's good for some and it's difficult for others.
And Scott, it's you and like you said, Coach Miola, Mike Miola. How do you kind of divvy it up because there's so many names there? You and Coach Miola are, is it like, hey, you take the 9 a.m. shift, I'll take the 10:30? I mean, like, how are you working together to make sure that you're, going through this? Because it's a lot of work for a staff of 10. And let alone, a staff of 2 guys trying to make sure that if somebody's leaving yours and who's leaving somebody else's. And like you said, if you have a list of like 5 guys and coach has a list of 5 guys and you come to each other and say, okay, well, this guy we both have, so let's definitely call him. But then to do the research inside of the research of why are you leaving? Like you said, is it disgruntled? Is it playing time? Is it injury? Is it the coach left? How do you divvy it up between the 2 of you?
It's funny. It's like, I think we might probably get on each other's nerves a lot because it's a constant text chain every day. And it's, hey, did you see so-and-so's on there? And, it doesn't matter. Like we'll do it all night. It could be 11:30 at night and we'll text each other like, hey, we saw this one. Yeah, I saw that too. Let's do some research tomorrow on him. So it's a constant thing. And, we'll always talk to each other, when we see somebody about it and figure out our game plan, if we want to move on it or if we don't want to move on it or who's going to contact that person, so it never stops, and it's good and bad. It's what we love. We love this part of it. We love the recruiting thing, the part of it. And it's a new dynamic of it. Yeah. But yeah, the divvying up really is we just both do our thing, like as far as researching it whenever we're on it. And then we'll always just text like, hey, what do you think of this guy or this guy? Did you see this guy? And sometimes it's like, yeah, I already heard about him. That's not that, he's done. He's already going someplace else, blah, blah, blah. So it's a nonstop recruiting tool, but it's good. We like it. So we just constantly stay in communication with it throughout the day.
Are you looking, when you go in the transfer portal, are you more apt to try and find those D1 guys that are in there, or are you looking for somebody to, make a move from D2? How do you assess it? Because obviously you have to be choosy about it, and you still want to recruit traditionally and make sure that these high schools are getting the respect that they deserve. So what are you looking for when you go in there, and how choosy do you become? And is it really saying, okay, I want that D1 talent that may have not been in the right place, or are you still looking at D2? How do you see it?
Well, we'll look everywhere. The classification to me doesn't matter. I think you want to see, it's really a fit thing for us. Like, we have a specific culture that we try to build, and you got to fit into it in order to be successful. So, we'll look at, a Division I kid that wants to leave, and that's great, if he's just in the wrong spot. But if we see a Division II kid that had great success at our level and he wants a different change of scenery, we'll definitely explore that. One of the things that I think too with the transfer thing is like I'm reluctant to bring in a transfer and not play him, so it's like you're making a move because it didn't work out. I feel that way about junior college players as well. It doesn't always work out that way, but like if you're bringing in a transfer, you don't want to bring them in to sit the bench because there's probably an opportunity for them to go someplace else where they could play. Right. So it kind of weighs into it a little bit. So, we look at that route, but a Division III player, there's so many good Division III players out there that just dominated at that level that could easily play up at 2 or 1. And I think you're going to see that now too, and especially now that we're still in that COVID 4 years. So kids have graduated now and now have another year of eligibility. So they're going to grad school someplace else. And you'll see that jump from 3 to 1. I know a couple kids that are doing it, locally. So it's interesting, but like, I think to me, it's just about, fit, what's the reasons? I think reasons are a big thing for me. Like, why are you leaving? Is it you, like, did you not get along with your teammates? Like, that's a red flag for me, like, is it you didn't play well and you want to just leave and go someplace else? Or like you said, did the coach leave or like, what is it? Like, do you think you're better than ever that level? Like, so a lot of this, and a lot of it's going to be like a communication thing. How do they respond to those questions and what they have to say? And I think that's a big part of how they're going to fit into what we do here. Because like I said, like, you can bring in a kid that's talented, but if he's not a buy-in type guy, then it doesn't matter, So it's just, you want to make sure a kid buys into what you do. And those are the kids that have success.
You had brought it up that if somebody didn't get recruited D1, or maybe it was like, one school or whatever, but the majority of their recruitment was D2 or D3 and whatnot. And then they go and they ball out and they show what they could do. And they're really, like you said, D3 or a D2 player that could play at the next level and whatnot. That's a diamond in the rough. Before the transfer portal, right? It was more difficult for somebody to come in and take that. What I don't want to happen is I don't want Division III and Division II and JUCO and whatnot. I don't want these worlds to be farm systems for D1 teams. So how do we navigate that, right? That you as a coach, that you and Coach Miola could go and find 4 or 5 guys that are diamonds in the rough that D1 schools didn't see, and then they spend a couple years with you, and then maybe a Texas or a Florida or an Alabama or somebody comes out and says, hey, you know what, or North Carolina, this guy can play, right? This guy, we want this guy on the mound for us. I mean, what can you say to that part of it? Because you could be going out there doing your due diligence and finding these incredible players. I mean, for goodness sakes, we already know you've done it. Josiah Gray's doing it. Ryan Murphy's doing it. There's guys that have come through LeMoyne, found their way to the majors. So when you find those diamonds in the rough and you have to re-recruit them every year, what's your take on that side of it? That, D1 schools might turn around and say, hey, wow, LeMoyne found this guy. We didn't give him the time of day, but 2 years in, he's got experience. Let's go steal him away.
I think that's the big issue right now. That's what it looks like it might turn into, which is unfortunate. Like, I guess for me, I don't know how you combat that, because it's part of it now. And I don't know. I think maybe in the recruiting process, when we speak to families and they like ask you, I've had it all the time. Like, are you going to be there? Like, are the coaches going to be there? Like you commit yourself to their sons to come in here and play for you. And then you hope that, that commitment stays with them, throughout the 4 years. It won't always. You hope it does. The unfortunate part about it is that when you bring in kids like that, you're giving them the opportunity to play college baseball. And I think that means something. Like, if we do the work to offer you to come to play for us, and then you have success, you would think that guys would want to see it through especially if they're playing and they're doing really well. And, fortunately for us, we've had guys that have gone on to play professionally. So if your end game is to play, say, professional baseball, and you're good enough, you're obviously going to be seen where you are here, and you'll have those opportunities if you're good enough. But a lot of guys and kids think, and quite frankly, parents think that the grass could be greener somewhere else. And sometimes maybe it is, but sometimes you might go from here where you're excelling to go to someplace where you'll be just another guy. You hope that's not the case, but it could happen. But I don't know. You just hope that you trust. You hope you build enough trust within the families that you bring in that they want to stay and see things through. And when we recruit people, we talk about it. We want to win championships. Like, that's the goal. The end game is to win a championship. Like, on the sports side of things, like, the real end game is to graduate with a degree and be ready for the real world. Like, then you go on the athletic side of it. We want to win conference, regional, national championships. And if we can build within and keep those kids there that are willing to try to obtain that, then we'll be successful. But it's so new. Like, this is so new, the way that it's going, that we haven't, it's our first times really kind of navigating that thing. So we'll see how that all plays out. But like you said, like, you just hope it doesn't come to be a breeding ground for, hey, come develop for 2 years and then leave. You know, like, we don't really want that to happen. We hope it doesn't happen, because we actually don't want to do that to other schools either. You know, like, it's the way it's going to happen, I guess, when people leave, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah. And to that, and one of the final points here, speaking with Scott Cassidy, the LeMoyne Dolphins baseball head coach here in this edition of Dolphin Dive, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I mentioned Josiah Gray, who's in the Nationals organization, and Ryan Murphy, who's in the Giants organization. And then you and I have spoken about your successes coming out of LeMoyne as well. We're seeing it through you. We're seeing it over history. We're seeing it today in the present with Ryan Murphy and Josiah Gray, that, you know, you could say to somebody when they say, well, why should I come there instead of going to Division I? You could say, well, if you come to LeMoyne, you got a shot of making it to the pros. Well, how? What's the proof? Well, your head coach made it, and there's 2 guys that are in there right now, and there's, you know, other people within the history and whatnot. What can you say to the successes of Josiah Gray and Ryan Murphy? And then secondly, how often that you may use that in today's world to say, listen, there are eyes on LeMoyne and we can prove it. Just look to 2 of the teams that are competing right now.
Yeah, we use it all the time. I mean, I think it's just a powerful recruiting tool. Kids that didn't get the Division I offers, you know, they didn't get the Division I offers. They came here, they saw it through, they worked their butt off. Like, it's funny because everybody thinks that, you know, like, well, you're the pitching coach, you're going to make them better. Like, our job as coaches is to put these kids in the best position to succeed. The player has to make themselves better. You know, I'm a firm believer in that. And that's exactly what those 2 did. They came here, we kind of guided them, put them in positions, did what we needed to do. But the player themselves are what gets them drafted. Now, we've had so much success at LeMoyne College throughout the years. We've had so many people drafted and play professionally, with, I believe, 7 or 8 that have played in the big leagues. That's incredible from a small school like this up in the Northeast. So, like, the history is there. And, you know, we like to think that we have connections to some of the local scouts that we could call them up and, hey, vouch for a kid. Like, I got a kid I think you might like. And they'll come and watch them. And if you're good enough, they'll get you. You know, it's funny, people say if they're good enough, they'll be found, but there's truth to that. These scouts know what they're looking for. You know, whether you're a Division III guy or you're a Division II guy or what JUCO, whatever you are, if you have the skill set that they're looking for, that they think they can develop even further, they'll get you. So having Josiah pitch in the big leagues currently is just huge. Having the success that Ryan Murphy's already had in his short time so far in the Giants organization is huge. And, you know, you'd like to hope that they would vouch for their experience here at LeMoyne. And I think they would. I think it, you know, where they are is because of where they were here. You know, like, their path took them through here, and now they're playing professionally and having a lot of success. And we're definitely going to use that to our benefit. And, you know, it's great that it's the recent success, because you can always talk about the past success. I mean, we've had, you know, John Ratliff was a first rounder out of LeMoyne, you know, back in, I think, 93. You know, we've had a ton of top 15 rounders come through here, and it's like, but now you're having it even right now when we're Division II and we're still doing it. So it's like, it's pretty special. And you just hope that people, you know, buy into that as well.
That coming here from Scott Cassidy, the team taking care of business at home as well this season, 14-2. A lot of great things coming up and a lot to build upon when it comes to LeMoyne College baseball. And Scott Cassidy, as always, I appreciate you letting me into the dugout. I appreciate you giving me some time here today. And I'm very honored and thankful for the fact that, you know, we have our diamond in the rough that came and played here and it has continued to coach here. So not saying it because you're sharing the picture with me, Scott. I really am happy to have you here in the community, and you've been very gracious with your time and always good to me. So I want to say thank you for that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Love talking to you.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com.
Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning. If you are, we're going to make it better. If you're not, well, we're going to make it good. That's what we do here. So, happy to be here with you. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. You can also find them by going to the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners. And, of course, that is in North Syracuse at their drive-through location. And you could find them at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York as well. So make sure that you do that today in their giant behemoth of a brown striped building, which I call the Welcome Center to Manlius because it's literally where all the roads converge to come into Manlius. So make sure that you check them out there. With that being said, I want to thank my fantastic guest for Dolphin Dive this morning. Once again, Scott Cassidy, the LeMoyne College Dolphins baseball head coach, played baseball for the Dolphins as well as played professionally. And now, we continue that bridge from LeMoyne, from his time and throughout time of LeMoyne getting into Major League Baseball. And Josiah Gray, now with the Washington Nationals organization, and Ryan Murphy with the San Francisco Giants organization in the here and now in Major League Baseball, showing that LeMoyne very much has that connection between the school and being able to continue your dream into the majors. So a lot of appreciation and respect for a very successful season of 27 wins for the team and advancement into the postseason and into the East Regional for LeMoyne Baseball, and of course for their continued success in Major League Baseball
and just overall Scott and just having him be a part of the show. I really do appreciate his time and love talking with him. I love sitting with him, and I appreciate everything he brings to the table here in our community. It cannot go understated, so I'll make sure it doesn't. With that being said, we're going to start a new video in just a few minutes here for the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. Very happy to be doing that with you. You know, every Wednesday we split the videos in two. Instead of having one 2-hour video from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., on Wednesdays we have a 9 to 10 a.m. and a 10 to 11 a.m. video. The reason why we do that is because our fantasy football coverage is so vast, so deep, so multi-layered, and we want to make sure that you can go into our library of videos and pick up whatever one you need when you need it for the upcoming season. So that's why we split it up. So Mike Sofka of HallOfFameFantasyFootball.com will be joining me in just a few minutes here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. So make sure you follow us into that video. And big thanks to my mama, who said that that was a great interview with Scott Cassidy. Well, you know, I give all the credit in the world to Scott. You know, he's a lot of fun to talk to. He's a lot of fun to have, and just a great individual. So I really do appreciate his time once again. With that being said, it is so awesome to say that today we have the opportunity to host a very, very special broadcast, and that is going to be in an extension of this morning. We're going to be on site on location at 4 p.m. today. That's 4 p.m. today, this afternoon, Wednesday, June 8th, in our community. We are going to be hosting Christy Salters Martin at 4 p.m. on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. She will be selling her book that was just released for her induction into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. You can come buy a book, get it autographed, take a picture with the champ, and obviously listen to the broadcast. So PB&J's Lunchbox today, 4 p.m. Come out to PB&J's. That's PB&J's Lunchbox today, 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York, right off the thruway, the highway, right by Destiny USA and Onondaga Lake Parkway. 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox today, June 8th, 4 p.m. We will be hosting Christy Salters Martin, and she's going to be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. They're going to be honoring her for that, so I'm so ecstatic for that. So come and meet the boxing champ, the now Hall of Famer, who just got her book out in time for being inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame here this week. So the book, for the first time ever, you'll be able to buy the book, and she'll sign the book for you, and you can meet Christy and take a picture, and of course listen to our broadcast. Don't miss out on the incredible story of the journey of Christy Salters Martin, who is also a piece of the Netflix series, The Deal with the Devil. So make sure that you are with us today and that you come out and see Christy Salters Martin at PB&J's Lunchbox at 4 p.m. With that being said, we'll take our final step aside and get ready for the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, right after this fast break from inside of the Cafe Cubal Studios.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was, selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I want to thank you for being a part of the show every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. I always appreciate having you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /Wake Up Call DT, as well as on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT. And on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage where you're watching and listening live. You can connect with the show after we go live by going to Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podbean, and more, including Amazon Music and Audible. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, and you'll get our archive there for you. And Podbean, over 1,600 episodes, so make sure you definitely go to Podbean, wakeupcalldt.podbean.com for our full library. With that being said, I want to thank our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond, Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, Pizza Man, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Honda City of Liverpool, and Mother's Cupboard. And, of course, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the proud multimedia marketing partner of your LeMoyne College Dolphins. It is fins up all day, every day, and every single month. The Dolphins join us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We bring you the Dolphins on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. for Dolphin Time. They have their slot every single week, guaranteed spotlight for the Dolphins. Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And every second and fourth Wednesday with the Dolphin Dive, featuring student athletes as well as coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni telling their stories like Scott Cassidy did today of the baseball program. So, with that being said, make sure you find it by going to the LeMoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also find us by subscribing to the YouTube channel and getting the entire LeMoyne archive at youtube.com /wakeupcalldt. And for more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. It's Pacer Pride every single week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora all throughout the year, and the Pacers join us this week with the Marywood University softball team on a historic season, celebrating with 3 of their incredible student athletes. I'm very excited for that coming up this week, so make sure that you're here with us to hear from Ashton, Emily, and Brooke. Very excited to have them all on the show this week. And of course, our Pacer Pride specials are Fridays around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time to round out the week of Wake Up Call. And our Pacer Pride specials come to you on the Marywood tab as well in the archive on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also find them by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and clicking subscribe. And of course, for more information on your Pacers, go to marywoodpacers.com. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are also exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you every single month, centering on the Bobcats, their student athletes, administration, and coaches, telling their stories. We've heard from national champions. We've heard about teams on their way to play for a national championship. We've heard about new programs starting, and we've broke the stories on giving you the exclusive when a coach was hired. We've done so much already with the Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, and we've only just begun. Stay tuned for Bobcat Buzz all throughout each month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora exclusively, and go back and see our most recent Bobcat Buzz special on the heels of his commitment to the Bobcats from the Syracuse Academy of Science. Makai Reed staying in Syracuse and coming to play for the Bobcats of Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Get all the information on the Bobcats by going to BSCSYR tab on wakeupcalldt.com. Subscribe for our library of Bobcat content as well on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And for more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, so happy to be here with you as we jump into our next video. For those of you on Facebook and youtube.com both /wakeupcalldt. We'll be back in just a second with a new video. For those of you here with us, definitely make sure you continue on mixlr.com /wakeupcalldt. And as always, God bless, no stress.